right? In person and virtual. My name is Elizabeth Fiorentino Williams. My sister Deanna Smith and I run the Chapel Hill Pod, part of Plant Pure Nation and PCRM. And we are here today in our home kitchen offering a food demo for our group with the wonderful Raw Chef Yin. And if you've never met Raw Chef Yin, you're going to have a treat today. She is an author of 5 cookbooks. She is a celebrity chef in Malaysia, all the way here to North Carolina. So we are so grateful for this opportunity. Everyone in person is going to get a chance to try her recipes. Everybody virtually, we can share what she's doing with you guys later. But she has 5 cookbooks to her name, several demos, workshops, and experiences online for you to participate in. YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram. Find her at Raw Chef Yin. And we're excited to have her today. We're so grateful for our other special guests that are local members, Kathy and Cheryl Hester, for helping us coordinate this event today and for bringing Raw Chef Yin to the States to see us. We're so excited for this opportunity and can't wait for her to share what she's going to demo today. Thank you so much for being here with the pod. We're so grateful. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth. Yeah, it's great to be here, and I'm very excited to be able to share some of my raw recipes with you. You know, for 30 years, I actually suffered from eczema on my fingers and my toes, and I tried all sorts of things. You know, we went to heal it. We went to Western specialist doctors, spent a lot of money, but all they gave me was steroid creams. Told me to wear 3 layers of gloves while doing my housework, and then I also tried Ayurvedic treatments that didn't work. And then I'm of Chinese descent, so I also, you know, did the traditional Chinese medicine, drinking thick, gooey, bitter medicine. That didn't work. I wrapped papaya skin around my toes because that was like a DIY remedy. That only got my toes smelling like papayas and looking very orange. And then one day I discovered raw vegan food. I made it, and you know, like I think Kathy sometimes says, automatically, my eczema healed. It went away. It didn't come back, and I was like, okay, I'm sticking to this raw vegan food thing, you know. Yeah. So I've been since 2016, I've been traveling the world teaching people how to make beautiful, delicious raw vegan food. My focus is more on Asian food. Yeah, because I think my training comes from Matthew Kenny Culinary, and that was more on Western raw vegan food. So, you know, your cucumber zoodles, your spaghetti marinara, your brownies. But I wanted to make, you know, Chinese fried rice. I wanted to make tom yum. I wanted to make what's like traditional Chinese food or Asian food or Indonesian food or Vietnamese food, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with raw vegan food. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, it's basically vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds, and then you have your seasonings, your spices. Some people use coconut oil, olive oil. I've kind of gone oil-free now. And then instead of your traditional methods of cooking, because you usually cook or bake or steam or braise, we use things like chopping, blending, food processing, spiralizing, dehydrating. But today I'm just going to keep it like super simple. So it's just going to be cutting and mixing. And then, yeah, it's food that is minimally processed or food that is unprocessed. And when we talk about raw, it's just that it's not heated up above about 115 Fahrenheit because you don't want to denature the enzymes and the nutrients of the food. Yeah. So you still can have warm food because some people think like, oh, it's all cold food. And I'm like, no, you can make warm soups. You can make bread in dehydrator. You can make pizzas. So it's actually a lot of fun. Yeah. So that's a little bit about raw food. Let me see what else I wanted to talk about. My iPad keeps closing on me. So I talked about, yeah, what's raw food and the techniques. If you want to go further, I actually have 6 ebooks online and 28 online courses as well. That's at my website, Rochef. My Gumroad site actually, rochefin.gumroad.com. But if you're interested in that, just DM me. I'll send you the links to that. But I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I share free recipes, so you can check that out as well. I do a lot of free recipe demos on YouTube as well. So for today, I chose this recipe number one because it's quite simple. So it's something that you can go back and take back and do it at home as well. And then it's also like easier for me to make it because we just flew in yesterday. There was like a 1 hour flight delay as well. So we'll just be and also this is actually it's called the Acha Timon. So it's kind of like a quick pickle. Timon means cucumber. Yeah. And usually in Malaysia, this is eaten with as an accompaniment to a meat dish. But I think on Wednesday we're going to do a live. Yeah. So So we're going to make the tempeh dish that actually goes with the Acha Timon. But you can just eat this as a side dish as well. Yeah. Or as a salad. Yeah. So the ingredients we're going to be using is a cucumber. Yeah. And then we'll use some pineapple, shallot. Yeah, we went yesterday to go to DH Mart to get the shallot. But the shallots here are huge. In Malaysia, I think this is like 4 times the size of in Malaysia.
Sometimes they're small here, but
Yeah.
like at the Asian market, the ones those are the ones Elizabeth got. The ones
Yeah.
we got were even bigger.
Ah, okay. Yeah, and then we usually use the red chili, the long one. So like maybe would that be the equivalent of like a fresh? Would it be a fresh? Is that a fresh? Do you call it a Fresno?
Fresno, yeah.
Yeah.
We do call them Fresno peppers.
Kind of, yeah.
But if you like things really spicy, like some friends of mine, could you use like Thai chili as well?
You could, but it's just going to be very small. So in terms of presentation, because you will only use like one Thai chili, whereas if the longer one, then you see more specks of red. If you use the Thai chili, it'll be very small. You can't see the red. Yeah, and I actually have another recipe that is similar, Acha Gelata, where it's slightly more ingredients. So we also put in some carrots. We also put in some mint. What else did we put in? I remember there was some extra thing I think we put in. So yeah, that one I think I have a video on YouTube somewhere. So yeah, I put the carrots. I can't remember what else I put in. But let's just stick to this. And then white vinegar. So the usual recipe. Oh, this recipe is actually my friend kind of like my friend's recipe. I mean, I have my own as well, but I made hers and it was quite nice and quite easy. Usually for raw food, I use apple cider vinegar, but my boyfriend here he does not like apple cider vinegar.
Really? You taste a big difference?
He doesn't like the smell. Sometimes he comes in the kitchen and he goes like, "What's that?" And we're like, "It's apple cider vinegar," and then he runs out. So yeah. But I think if you cook it or you put it in, like a salad dressing and he can't taste it, then it's okay. But when he sees it on his own, so I thought like, oh, let's just stick to using the white vinegar and not, apple cider vinegar. But it depends. I mean, because the raw purist will go like, that's not raw, so you need to use raw apple cider vinegar. And then we'll use some sugar. I'm really happy to see that you're using coconut palm sugar because I love this kind of sugar. Yeah. And then just a bit of salt to round up all the flavors. Yeah. So I'm just gonna prep the vegetables, and if you guys have any questions, you can already like start asking me, and then I will try to multitask.
It's always hard.
Yeah, because I'm not. Do you want to cut the? Maybe you want. Can you, or you're looking after that? It's okay.
Are you sure?
What?
I was gonna...
Yeah, because then I thought I could cut the pineapple.
Because we'll use that.
Because sometimes the pineapple takes longer to cut
I'm just
as
moving.
well.
If you move it down. Oh, Kelly says I'm eating raw this week.
Oh, nice, Kelly. Which Kelly is it? Yeah.
Okay. But
so.
You wanna?
Oh, just like slice the.
Come on.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Yay! So
Jeremy, you're live on my YouTube channel. Wave
you.
People.
Yeah, you can do it either way. You can do it as like this.
Okay.
or you can do it into sticks. Actually,
Okay.
I like it as sticks better. I don't know. Ask you what usually the acha. What do you do? It's either way. Right? Yeah, like matchsticks, right? Yeah.
Matchsticks.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, wash your hands. Yay.
you see
Okay.
Jeremy is washing his hands. He gets bonus
So-
points for that.
So where will he?
all right.
And then I'll cut up the pine.
Okay.
Yeah,
want
you
me
can
to-
do that. Then I'll do the pineapple.
All right.
Unless
I'll
you-
come over here and you can stay
Yeah.
in the center because you're the spotlight.
All right. So we're gonna use. Are we doubling this? But so maybe
Here,
we
I'll
need.
get another cucumber.
Yeah, we need 2
And
cucumbers.
let's move this
Okay.
on the other side because this is where you're going to put the.
I think
trash,
initially-
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we can do it.
It takes a village, people.
Because usually I prep all the ingredients at home, but it's funny. I woke up at like 5:30 today, and then at 10:45 I'm going like, oh my god, we have to go. I was
You went to
sitting,
bed very late.
yeah, because we arrived and then we went for. It feels like Durham is Korean now because we had we had like Korean for dinner, and then we went to the Korean mart. We went to H Mart, and we were like, wow, this place is amazing.
Carrie. So we went to H Mart, which is a really big Korean grocery, and we went. There's bibimbap
Oh, you guys probably take out
in
the
Cary as well.
middle,
So like,
right?
Sorry.
You take out the middle, right?
And then purple rice
Yeah,
and
most
salad.
people
It's
do,
actually
but
really
I
quite good.
depends on what kind of cucumber it is because the one you don't
That's fine.
need to, but some people like to take it out so it's not so wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't really like food waste, so
And
yeah.
Jeremy is an aspiring chef.
Okay.
You are. He's the one who wants to know about the raw bread and everything.
Oh, okay.
too.
Yeah, so let me talk a little bit about the raw bread. Depending on so basically you make like a bread dough depending on I usually like to use buckwheat. So have you worked with buckwheat?
I have
Buckwheat
not.
groats. Yeah, I take buckwheat groats because that is raw, and then I soak them and sprout them,
Okay.
and then I dehydrate them. And then depending, you can just use plain buckwheat or you can mix it with zucchini, and then you can put in the flavors. I make like a rosemary bread, so I put in rosemary, put in some miso,
Okay.
and then sometimes a bit of dates just to sweeten it a bit. Yeah, depending on how. And then after that, just shape them into a bread roll and dehydrate it. Recently, also I made this was in my friend's recipe. It was broccoli bread, so it was like broccoli and I think hers had like nuts. So when I first started at culinary school, they taught us how to make bread with more of nuts and seeds. A lot of nuts actually, like walnut, almonds, mainly with almonds and all that. But I find that a bit dense and a bit hard to eat. Oh, you need to put in psyllium husk as well. Now I
Okay.
remember. Because psyllium husk will give it that bready texture. Yeah. Okay. So my friends in Southeast Asia, if they see me cutting a pineapple like this, they'll be really upset because you usually like they do it very thinly and then they cut out all the eyes, but that takes me forever to do. So I'm just like, yeah, just kind of shaving it all off now. But yeah.
That's good because most people aren't going to do that here. They're going to do it exactly the way you're doing.
Ah,
That's
yeah.
how I do it.
Yeah. I cheat a lot. I'm very spoiled. So I have this specific fruit seller that I buy my pineapples from.
Mhm.
And I go there in the morning and go like, can you cut the pineapple for me? And I'm going for a walk. He's right next to the park. So after I finish my walk in the park, I pick it up from him and it's all like really nicely cut with all the eyes cut. But yeah, so just take off the skin and the eyes because this does not taste good, right? This part and all that. I don't know.
Chef
Yeah.
Yan, so do you guys in Malaysia do anything with the pineapple skins and leftovers that you're putting here? Because I know there's a drink that's made other places that I've made.
The tepache?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, oh, no, not tabachi. I made one with hibiscus. That's a tea, cinnamon hibiscus pineapple tea.
Oh.
Talk about tabachi.
Yeah, at one time I was making a lot of tepache, but which is like a fermented drink with the pineapple skins. I think I used the coconut palm sugar. I haven't made it for some time actually, but yeah, I think it's just wild fermentation, right? So you put this in with water and certain amount of sugar, and then you just let it ferment. It becomes bubbly. But I haven't made it in some time. Oz likes to drink it. Yeah.
It's good.
So yeah, I just wanted to make sure there's none of the ice, and then okay.
You're more
I think
thorough
this-
than I am.
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, and then I try to avoid the core, because the core will sometimes make your tongue feel very prickly. So what I do with the core is I usually just freeze it and put it in my smoothies, because when I freeze it and then you blend it up, then that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
there's an enzyme in pineapple. So
Yeah.
like I've made Dole Whip for the Ninja Creami with fresh pineapple. Usually I use canned, but I ate a whole pint for dinner, and my lips started swelling because I ate too much. You can only have a certain amount. I was gonna go wash this.
But he was like, put his hand right there underneath the blade.
Of course, Oz got that. I'm over to the side acting like I'm stabbing you. Oz is filming it.
I was just trying to get the conversation, but it was so dramatic.
Here, let's see. We'll go. There's Oz filming.
I'm gonna make this. So I'm just like, chopping up we don't have a vegetable scraper, right? So I'm just gonna use yeah. Maybe it should be slightly smaller. I'm just doing it faster. I think like sliced, yeah, or bite-sized pieces.
Well, that always changes too. Like sometimes if I'm feeling super fancy or I'm having a party, I make things really tiny. And
Yeah.
sometimes you're hungry and then
Yeah.
it's just really big.
Exactly. Yeah, should be a bit thinner. Yeah, maybe.
That pineapple looks really good and juicy.
This is a good size. Yeah, and then this thin. Okay. Yeah, but if you're just the only one who's eating it, do it, the way you like to do it. So, I mean, I'm a bit.
Oh, and Joanne was saying, are you talking about fermenting the pineapple? And you want to say, because I don't have a mic on.
Oh.
So I'll just talk to Jeremy's ear. Yes, we were talking about tapachi, and she was using the skin, so the things that she's taken off of the pineapple. I guess you could put the core in there too if you wanted
You can
to.
put the core inside as well. Yes, definitely. Yeah, but is anybody familiar with the whole fermentation process? No. Oh, okay.
I made sauerkraut last year, and I made way
nice.
too much.
Oh.
Because Cheryl won't eat it, and I had a big jug of it.
Oh, it's still. Well, you can still keep it for a long time. Sauerkraut.
Yeah, I didn't do it
Yeah.
completely properly, but do you want to
Oh.
talk a little bit about that? Like,
Oh,
are
yeah.
there things that you usually ferment?
Yeah, I love fermentation, and I remember when I was doing my fermentation module at culinary school, I was like trying to ferment every single thing, because I realized like, oh, I just need to put salt and water and something else in, and then I didn't even have like a proper fermentation vessel, or like sometimes you have those airlocks. All I did was I think I put it in a fermentation jar and just covered it with a cloth and secured the cloth with an elastic band, not an electric band. Yeah, and yeah.
I might have some of those things you can take back if you want. If I can find them.
Oh yeah, if you have the ferment.
I have some of the little things that go on the jars.
Right, yeah.
If I didn't hide them too much in the room again.
Yeah.
But
So-
I found a big crock at like World Market for like $10.
Oh,
on
wow.
Sale. But I've seen
Yeah.
some beautiful ones in
Yeah.
the Asian markets.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some people are afraid of fermentation. I don't know. There's a lot of fear about
Well,
like
you don't want to kill
get-
anybody. I think
yeah,
that's
but
the thing.
but the thing is, I think when I don't know about here, but in Asian cultures, we fermented a lot, and our grandmothers used to ferment so much stuff. So yeah,
Where
yeah.
would you like these?
So I guess we need.
Here, I'll find it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So and for raw food, fermentation is what brings in a lot of good flavor. I mean, if you're familiar with making sauerkraut, which is basically chopping up your cabbages and creating a brine, and then just putting it in and make sure that it submerges in the brine. Yeah, that's your very simple fermentation. Now leave it on the counter. You know, like kimchi is fermented. There's loads of fermented food in the Chinese culture, Malay culture. Do you have? We do, right? Yeah, fermentation as well. Yeah. But yeah, then there's different things. There's like wild fermentation. There's lacto fermentation. There is
Talk a little bit about wild versus lacto.
actually now I can't remember. I know
I don't know.
okay, so wild fermentation is basically like
That'd be like cashew cheese.
you don't no wild fermentation, you don't need to put a starter to get it to ferment, because the good bacteria in the air will already ferment it. Yeah. Or sometimes, you know, the bacteria like on the cabbage itself. So now I remember, I think lacto fermentation can be wild fermentation, but yeah, thanks, Jeremy.
Do you need him to cut something else?
Yeah, do you want to? This one, yeah, just like into strips, yeah, into strips.
And so you guys didn't get to hear this before, but that's the Ashe County pimento that Jeremy actually brought me back. So it's from my garden, and it's a little super sweet. But what really goes in this recipe is a spicy pepper. And it's Kathy's fault that there are not spicy peppers, because they are in my refrigerator at home a half an hour away. But I brought Jeremy some peppers because his died. So he's giving up a pepper for the team. And then we have some jalapenos we're using from my garden that Chef Yen's getting ready to cut up. And that is also through the niceness of Jeremy, because I brought him some jalapenos. He's had some mean pepper squirrels.
Ooh, I think these are spicy, right?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty spicy. Well, they're not. Okay, so.
Are they going to go onto my hands?
Yeah.
Because
Well, I've cut it up and I've been okay. So you can eat spicier food than I can.
No, I'm just more worried about my fingers. I'm using the stem, so. Because I'm like, I could feel it coming into my eyes. I was like, but it's good.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
So Jeremy and I both get our tomatoes and peppers from the Raleigh Farmers Market. There's a guy who comes in the beginning of the growing season. What's his name, Jeremy? Gerald. And if you guys are in the area, you should totally check him out. He does these great, why do I keep forgetting the name of the small tomatoes? Dwarf tomatoes.
Okay, I know the recipe says in a small bowl combine the vinegar, sugar, salt. Oh yeah, we should combine it.
Here.
Sometimes I'm lazy, I put everything in, but I think we need that to combine so that the sugar will go in.
I'll get you a whisk.
All right, so we're gonna put in the white vinegar. Here.
Is Gerald the NC State guy?
Yeah, yes. Gerald is the NC State guy. Well, he just retired, I think.
1, 2. I'm just gonna put 2 first. I'm gonna taste it and see whether I need more.
I know. Joanne's saying it's kind of strange with people being headless, but I'm showing back and forth. When you're talking, I'm trying to cut. That's why I'm standing here. I'm trying to go up and then down, up and then down.
Take some of your books.
But it'll won't show
the food.
Yeah, we're putting in the coconut palm sugar. Oh, this smells good. I like this.
go back to sitting.
Okay, thank you so much,
You're
Jeremy.
welcome.
Yay! Oh, Jeremy, do you know how to open up the young coconut?
No.
And
Okay.
then
No.
just a bit of the salt. If you don't use salt, you can use miso. If you're not using miso, I'm not sure whether this works with a salt substitute.
You should. If I'm doing a salt substitute, a plain one, I put garlic, onion powder, and celery seed. So that might be okay. It wouldn't
Not
be.
sure.
I'm not sure if it'll add anything.
Yeah.
Do you think celery? Because even if you just put some celery seed in there, it has some sodium in it.
I've tried. It doesn't taste the way the Malaysian food
Right.
tastes. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes with salt substitutes, it's just that way for everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just
Let
gonna
me-
pour it in.
See if I can get you a spatula.
Yeah. So it's just really easy. Just cutting everything up, making the. Thank you.
I will even spatula it for you if you want. I'm like, no
Right.
drop left behind.
I'm gonna taste it because I didn't put that much vinegar, but when I tested it the other day, it did need the 2 tablespoons. So we'll see. So we have the cucumber, pineapple, shallot, red chili, white vinegar, sugar, salt. Yay! All right. So now it looks really pretty. You can see all the colors, right? Yeah. Yeah. Before I mix it up. Okay.
And so video 1000 nights, she's making a Malaysian pickle, quick pickle,
Yeah.
with cucumbers, pineapple, peppers, and she made a coconut sugar vinegar dressing.
Yeah, and then obviously if you can, you can leave it in the fridge, chill it in the fridge for 2 hours. That'll taste really good. But you can also just have it now immediately. Or you can taste it and then make it, put it back in the fridge and see what it tastes like after that and see what you like.
And Chef Yan, if someone wasn't using coconut sugar, could they use date sugar?
They can. I've tried it with
Okay.
date sugar as well, actually. And that's pretty good. Let me just.
I have a question for you. How do you resist not using all the raw ingredients in your pantry or in the refrigerator? I guess like oh, there's a red onion. I'm just gonna throw it in there. Oh, there's a zucchini. I'm throwing it in there. You stick with your recipes, or you just?
No, I don't always stick with my recipes. And I'm always changing people's recipes all the time. But maybe it'll be better with this, or maybe it'll be better with that. So.
I think that's normal though when you're making
Yeah, the
so many
recipe is kind
recipes.
of like it's kind of a guideline, right?
And in Malaysia, I know this
It's
is
spicy. Yeah, so I hope you guys can take
I
it.
told you those jalapenos were spicier than you, because if you go to the store right now where we live actually I think in the USA, most places, even at the Mexican or Hispanic markets you'll go, the jalapenos aren't spicy. It's actually an issue. So these are ones I'm growing at home, and so I forgot. I'm so used to just cutting the tip off and then touching my tongue, and I was like, whoa!
Az, you want to try one of the one.
And there's no real way to tell if a jalapeno's spicy or not when you're trying to pick it out at the store, is there?
No.
It's hit or
Good.
miss.
I found for me,
No,
a lot
like
of times
the-
when they're big and
That's right.
fat, they tend to be, I don't know if it's the
I think
variety.
I'm gonna put in a bit more of the
but
pineapple
that,
since
I
we have
found
it.
those,
I think you
in
put
the
the pineapple
store.
in. It'll
those
be
are
more-
milder.
Yeah.
But every once in a while,
If you see a lot of the striation lines on it, that's the capsaicin damaging the.
I think I'm gonna put in a bit more.
So it's
of
spicy.
They're usually hotter.
the,
okay, so Jeremy, if
pineapple,
you guys
and
didn't
then,
hear
yeah.
that, actually
Yeah.
said, so the striations on the outside of pepper, so if it looks scarred, like there's a little scarring on the outside, it means the spicy stuff is in there actually damaging the skin.
So yeah, I'm gonna use the rest of the pineapple since we have it.
That's what I would do
And
too. So I was wondering if you were going to do that or not.
Yeah, might as well. I
See,
think
Jeremy, there's your question answered right there.
Yeah, but I think when I'm developing recipes, because I like to try and make my raw vegan Asian recipes as authentic as possible. So I wouldn't throw in things, but when I'm just making food for myself to eat, then yeah, I just put in anything and everything. And I know some of you might be curious, like, what do I eat for breakfast? What I eat in a day, right? So for breakfast, I usually make a smoothie bowl. So today I was in Kathy's kitchen making a smoothie bowl, a green smoothie bowl. So usually the base will be like bananas, and then I'll throw in like 1 to 2 cups. No, actually it's not 1 to 2. 1 to 2 cups of leafy greens, sometimes more. I'm trying to get in, as my body really likes greens, so I'm trying to get in like usually at home I would put in 1 pound of greens. I would eat 1 pound of greens a day. When I'm traveling, it's a bit more difficult. So breakfast will be a smoothie bowl. Lunch, I will make a salad. And dinner, I just usually have fruit, because by dinner I'm too tired to make anything. I'm just like, fruit. Yeah. So when that happens, yeah, Jeremy, I just kind of like put anything and everything that I have in my fridge for my salads. So actually, to be honest, for lunchtime, when it's my salad, I don't really think so much of taste. I mean, the dressings are going to be, the dressing is going to give it some flavor, but I don't think about like, how is this, ingredient in my salad going to taste with something else. I'm just putting all in to get the nutrients in. Yeah. So, but yeah, when I'm developing recipes, and it's like I said, if it's a, this whole place has been cleaned, right?
yeah.
So if it's like in, say, like a Indonesian fried rice, then I will think about what is actually in the Indonesian fried rice, because I used to, before I became a chef, I used to work in corporate. So I was in corporate communications, and I would cover the Southeast Asian market as well as the Asia Pacific market. And so I remember the times that I used to eat all the food in Indonesia, and how did that taste, and try and make it according to that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you want to taste some?
Yeah. And
Let
I'd
me know
love
what you think.
to ask a question too.
Sure.
So like, this is obviously a traditional recipe,
Yeah.
but let's say we went on the deck in the morning, and I had 4 zucchinis and no cucumbers.
Right.
And we
right.
were making it for us. Then you'd be like,
Okay.
sure, we could probably make that with zucchini instead of cucumbers.
We could, but it wouldn't be traditional, because traditional
Well, it is
Malaysian
spicy.
recipes, we don't use zucchini. In fact, it's not. It's good.
It's good.
Okay.
My jalapenos are spicy.
Yeah, that's what I say. Oh,
They
it's
are.
spicy. I didn't take out the seeds. That's
Jeremy,
why.
Jeremy's gonna eat all of this.
You know what? In Malaysia, we usually don't remove the seeds and veins from our peppers. From like jalapeno, or even the red ones. We usually don't. So I'm so used to not doing that, and I keep forgetting that people might not be able to take the spice level that I have. Yeah. So sorry, what?
Oh, and so I was saying,
Yeah.
so obviously when we're talking about doing traditional stuff, because like you're going to be doing raw Chinese takeout,
right,
for your next class, or ebook. I always forget which.
Course.
Okay, because I have it both in my head,
Mm.
and so that would be different. But like, we were just at my house, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'd like to make
Oh
this
yeah, if I'm
pineapple
at your
vegetable.
house, then definitely I would use.
We would just use whatever was available.
Yes.
And so.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's nice to have things done traditionally and have those traditional flavors, but it's also really nice when people realize, oh, I have a whole bunch of X in my garden.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do something really cool and different with it.
Yes. In fact, like when I try out other people's recipes when we're in the bundles together, I always change it, because like I may not be able to get something in the US, so I kind of try and think of like what is a substitute or what is close enough. So I remember one of my students, she's like, oh yeah, now I just change this and add that, because she sees me doing that, and it's not so stressful for her to think like, oh, I need to get this and this from the store, if not I can't make a recipe, because these are all general guidelines. I mean, the whole idea is to think about, you want something crunchy in here, so you have your cucumbers. You want to have something sweet and juicy, so that's your pineapple. You want to have something spicy, that's your red pepper. Then you want that the onions will also give it a bit of crunch, and also the astringency. Yeah, I can't pronounce words either. And then
that's my superpower.
Yeah, and
I'm affecting her.
You have your coconut palm sugar to give it the sweetness, and then you also have a bit of salt just to round it all up. Yeah, so you're thinking about flavors and how they all pair together. So if you eat this, then you, I guess you'll understand why for traditional people who eat, not traditional, for me eaters, like why this will combine well, because it kind of cuts through the meatiness as well and gives it, some kind of, gives it a balance. Yeah.
And so
All right.
Elizabeth is going to start giving little samples out. And there were a couple of little questions. One was about Chef Ian's books, and Apple so kindly put in the links to your books because Apple's the best.
That's nice.
Because she just
Yeah.
is. It's like she's amazing. The other thing, I know, I wish we need to go to Vancouver so we can all meet Apple.
I was gonna say, I need an apple.
Yeah, we all need an apple. And then someone was saying those peppers, the green peppers, look like serranos, but they're not. They're jalapenos from my garden. They're what's the name of it? Jeremy knows because we get them at the same place. The jalapenos. Hello Fuego peppers. So I'm sure it's a blend in some way. Okay. So you guys have some questions about this. We're going to make a Ninja Creami pint as well because Ninja Creamies are awesome. But what's interesting is Chef Ian can't eat really cold food.
I can, but not a lot.
Not a lot.
Just a bit.
Just a bite. And I just had a Ninja Creami smoothie.
Yeah, I can't eat that much. I can eat maybe a quarter of what you ate. Yeah. Yeah.
And so
a quarter of what you ate is okay.
So is the smoothie bowl that you make in the morning, is that not kind of more frozen, or is that more?
I don't do it frozen.
Do you want to talk about the ingredients you put in?
For the liquid, I usually just use filtered water or coconut water. I don't like to use plant-based milk for my smoothie, just personally, because I feel like it's a bit too heavy for me in the morning. If I'm having it, say, after 12 or what, then I can have it. But in the morning, because I've been on my raw food journey since I actually discovered raw food in 2014, so it's been 10 years, but officially when I started as raw chef, it was 2016. So I've tried different ways. I used to use a lot of plant-based milk, but not so much anymore for my smoothies. So I use a liquid base of 1 cup of coconut water or 1 cup of just plain water, maybe 3 bananas as a base. Sometimes I put in some frozen coconut chunks, and sometimes I put in some frozen berries as well. So the water is not cold, but the berries are, so it's kind of a bit cold. And then I usually just, and like I said, I put in greens. So I think in terms of grams and not ounces and pounds, because I'm from Malaysia. So maybe like a third of a pound of greens in my smoothie bowl. I think he feels that it's quite green, but I'm so used to having greens. So I usually put things like, also Asian greens actually, because I get, do I get a box? No, I don't get a box, but I get it from my fruit seller. So, sometimes it's bok choy, sometimes it's spinach, sometimes it's kailan, that kind of thing. And then sometimes it's kale, but kale's more expensive in Malaysia. So I just like to take local stuff. So there's water, there's bananas as a base, there's greens, and then I top it up with some fruit, depending on what fruit there is for that week. So actually, I buy my fruit 3 times a week because I eat so much fruit. So that's my breakfast and then my lunch, because dinner I eat fruit again. So yeah, that's in this. Yeah, that's in the. So today, this morning, I had water. I had we had bananas. I also put in some mame sapote because we were just in Florida, and one of my friends, Jeanette. Thanks, Jeanette, Misfit Vegan. She bought me a big, huge mame sapote. I don't know whether you guys are familiar with that. Yeah, it's amazing. It's like this. It looks like an egg. The outside of the skin is brown, like a sapodilla, and then the inside is a bright orange, and it's very creamy. If you get good ones, it tastes a bit like pumpkin pie. Yeah, so it's sweet and creamy. So I put that in, and then I put in some spring mix as well, and then Kathy has loads of fruit for me. So we had blueberries and raspberries and raspberries and strawberries. Yeah. Yeah, and those berries are very more expensive in Malaysia, so it's actually quite fun to have it all here.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
had,
one
you had
here.
said that, so I wanted to try and have some berries. And at
Yeah.
Costco, they're much cheaper.
Yeah.
But I have some of Jeremy's. He has a blackberry bush,
Oh,
so I have some of
okay.
those frozen. So you'll
Oh,
have to have some of
nice.
those tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think everybody
So-
needs a Jeremy too.
I claimed him. Jeremy's like my little brother. Okay.
All right.
And I'll go check and see if there are any questions. I'm just trying to bring this sort of over here.
Oh yeah. So the next one I'm making is the passion fruit ice cream, and so before the lockdowns, I sometimes also I would teach in someone asked me if I have a restaurant. No, I do not have a restaurant, and that is by choice because
Yeah.
running a restaurant is absolutely crazy. I have a lot of chef friends who run vegan restaurants, and they all tell me like, yeah, don't do it. Just don't do it, you know.
It's
So,
hard,
yeah.
especially doing a raw restaurant. You do so much cutting.
Yeah, and the cost will be way higher than a normal vegan restaurant as well. Then you have to charge much more. So no, I don't have a restaurant, but I do. Again, before the lockdowns, I would do in-person workshops, consultations. I do demonstrations. People would used to come to my home, and I would teach them how to make vegan food. I would also go to people's home and teach them as well. But then everything changed, so I did everything online. I've started doing some demonstrations at Batch Fest as well in Malaysia. I've also had people asking me to start making food again at their cooking studios. But I haven't started that yet just because I kind of injured my hand, so I'm taking it easy for now. But I also used to do pop-up dinners as well. So this ice cream is actually something that I serve at my pop-up dinner. So it's usually like a one night only event, and it's like a 5-course kind of fine dining. It will be considered as fine dining. So when I made this ice cream, then it has like a nut base as well to go with it. But this is just a plain ice cream. Yeah, so this is a passion fruit ice cream because we can get passion fruit very easily in Malaysia, and I really love the taste of passion fruit. And I think I just like the idea that, because I remember before I was vegan, I thought like, oh, I can't even have ice cream if I'm not going to have dairy. I'm not going to have milk. Yeah, and I used to love ice cream so much that that's why I bought an ice cream maker against my mother's. My mom is like, no, don't buy one. I don't know why, but anyway, sorry, mom. Anyway, I got an ice cream maker, and I was trying to look for healthy ice cream recipes, and somehow I found a raw vegan lasagna recipe. I made that, and then I was like, so enamored by raw vegan food, and then suddenly I'm like, oh, here I am. I'm raw chef Yin now. And I was just very, very passionate about it, and like really passionate about teaching people. And I remember when I first started, I used to go to all the vegan restaurants and like, I can develop recipes for you. I can train your staff. Like, I can develop menus for you. And initially, nobody wanted to listen to me. And now they're like, oh, can you come into our kitchen? I'm like, oh, no, I don't feel like doing that anymore. Just buy my course and yeah, your kitchen team can get it from my course. But yeah. So yeah, this is a recipe from, like I said, from my pop-up dinner. It's kind of, my recipe initially actually had some oil, so Kathy has very kindly modified it to make it oil-free.
And
Yeah.
basically, because you don't eat, Chef Yen doesn't eat oil anymore
Yeah,
either.
no, I don't.
But so this was one of your original raw
Yeah,
recipes, and I think, and maybe it's a misconception, because for me, until I met you, I pretty much thought most raw food, because it's very heavy in coconut oil,
Yeah.
very heavy in nuts, but
Yeah.
your food isn't really.
Yeah. So what happened? And I understand why. You know why? Because everyone who is trained in raw food. I mean, if you take the traditional raw culinary training, it is going to be very heavy in oil and nuts, and coconut oil, olive oil, and a lot of nuts. It's just that in 2021, I think I watched this I was attending this. It was called Energy Summit online by Dr. Rick and Karen Dina, and they were talking about how oil is not good for you, and then I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should start cutting down on oil. And then I discovered the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle, and that's where I learned I learned how to use to make raw food without oil. And then I was like, oh, number one, my body feels so much better, and number two, cleaning the dishes and cleaning up is way easier. So that made sense.
It really, really is, for sure. And I think that's something important to lead with too, just because almost always when I see something like the raw bundle, I think, oh, I'm not going to be able to eat anything. But it's true, more and more raw foods are having less oils.
Yeah. But actually, the raw bundle is all oil-free.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the plant-based bundle that is not.
Okay. There are a lot of bundles now.
But the raw bundle is oil-free. Yeah, that's why I bought the first bundle actually, and then I was in the rest of the bundles. So that's how I taught myself to. Yeah, I learned from Chris Kendall, Lisa. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you mind if we talk for a minute about some of the ingredients?
Yeah, let's go through the ingredients.
Okay, because
we have.
I want to talk about the passion fruit and the coconut.
Yes.
So Elizabeth found some Whole Foods coconut that's already young coconut. So what that is at the Asian market, you can get this. It's going to look like this. And you too can go on YouTube and watch videos on how to do it. But basically, you're going to take a vegetable peeler and peel all around till you see the brown coconut. Because when I saw this next to the brown coconuts, I thought this was the inside.
Oh,
but it's actually
they've shaved it.
Yeah, so with the brown coconuts are actually more broken down. Because when you shave this, then you get to the brown, and then you kind of poke at it, and then you can get a knife in there and pull it up.
Yeah.
And then you have a hole. And then you take a spoon. Well, first you pour out the coconut water, and you can use it in smoothies or things like that.
Or you can just drink it straight.
And then you peel out the stuff here. So you can also get at the at Hispanic markets, you can find frozen young coconut, and you can find frozen passion fruit. So, and I think I did this upside down. So this is passion fruit. Let's see if I can do this without spraying it everywhere. There we go. She's like, I'm moving out the way. So, and then this is just a bag. And then,
spicy?
Spicy.
Oh, sorry. I should cut it smaller because in Malaysia, that's the size we cut it. Actually, this is thinner than the slice that I usually do.
He has an Indian background. His mom is Indian, so he eats really spicy. He eats really spicy foods.
Then it's like, you
know. So the other thing you can do is get this frozen passion fruit. And you can get that in our area at Sprouts. And see, it's kind of like.
Oh, I can't see it.
Okay, here we can pass it back. So it's
just
like little yellow things. And so passion fruit actually grows in North Carolina. It's called maypop here. And so a lot of people, I want to start making stuff because after I made this ice cream, I'm crazy for passion fruit. So like even in my smoothies, like the smoothie bowl this morning, I have passion fruit.
Oh,
in
nice.
But those are the two.
Made good dressing as well.
Is passion fruit the same as dragon fruit?
No,
it's not. Very.
I'll see. Yeah, there's sort of. Here. You can sort of see a picture there. But it doesn't look yellow like that.
Yeah, the passion fruit is kind of like it's a ball. So the
like little.
Yeah, it's just like
and it gets
smaller
wrinkly?
than a text. Yes, and then you need to wait for it to wrinkle so it kind of ripens and becomes sweet. And when you cut it, the skin is quite thick actually. And then you see the pulp. You have to you scoop out the pulp. So what you're getting is the pulp. So when I made it, I do eat the seeds. Yeah, it comes together. You can eat the seeds as well. But I think the puree and the frozen ones, I think they've taken it out.
Yeah.
I would eat the seeds. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the best. I mean, it's kind of a bit crunchy, but
I was going to ask if it's crunchy.
Yeah, it's crunchy, so it's fun to eat.
Is there,
Yeah.
Can you eat it like all? If you had one and you cut it open, can
Yeah.
you eat all the seeds in it, or are you supposed to like?
You can eat all the
mix-
seeds in
Yeah,
it.
you know, it's-
Yeah.
You're not gonna get sick or overdose.
No.
No, you might get some stuck in your teeth, so you have to be. But that's about it.
So Oz says you might get some stuck in your teeth if you eat too many, but it's good for your stomach.
I thought you were going to say it's because my parents, like my parents would say, "Oh, grow out from your head," and then we're like, how does that work? But yeah, no, you won't get sick. Yeah, it's great. It's like eating like when you eat, I don't know, when you eat just what has seeds, like what here has seeds?
Blackberries.
Blackberries are seeds.
So like
yeah. Yeah.
huh? Which one?
Yeah, dragon
Dragon
fruit as
fruit.
well. So
I
it's
eat
the
the
same.
seeds in dragon fruit, but like if the seeds in blackberries, if I'm making a Ninja Creamy pint with it, I strain them out because blackberry seeds can be
I don't really crunch. They just.
and they
Yeah,
poke you. It's like little knives. So, but maybe we'll get a passion fruit. Maybe that's something we should do too. We'll open up a passion fruit and I'll try the seeds.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, I think.
Basically, you're just gonna throw everything in the blender.
Okay.
It's easy.
All right. So, the ingredients are.
It's not a Vitamix that you're putting in there. Is that a Vitamix?
It's a Vitamix.
And it could be any
It's a
blender.
Vitamix.
It could be a Ninja blender, a Beast blender, a Blend Tech, your mama's blender that's still working
Vitamix.
from 1947.
That would be an oyster.
My friend has a Vitamix that her mom got like in 1952 or something. It still works.
Okay. So I'll let you know what the ingredients are. We have 1 cup of water, and then and we're doing 1/3 cup of passion fruit, right? Passion fruit pulp. I'm not going to lift it up because I don't want it to. And then we have cashews. So not the roasted cashews because we're doing raw. So and then we've soaked them as well. I usually soak them minimum 2 hours, sometimes longer. Sometimes I just do it overnight. The reason why we're soaking them is we want it to soften so that it will blend easier and it will become very creamy. And also I don't know whether cashews actually have enzyme inhibitors over it, because I mean, like the general rule for nuts and seeds, you should soak it and sprout it and before you use it, just for better digestion as well.
What did you do with them? Did you say vegetable broth? Or?
No, we just use water. It's
Just
just plain water, and then you rinse it. Did we rinse this?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I usually rinse it twice and drain it, and then we use it. Yeah. So, and then we have young coconut meat as well. Again, this is also to just give it the creaminess and the texture. The whole idea of using the cashews, the hemp, the coconut meat is to make it really creamy, the way ice cream should be. Yeah, and then we're using maple syrup as a sweetener. I was asked whether maple syrup is raw. The purists will say it's not, but I've always used it in culinary school and I've always used it in my recipes. Personally, I prefer to use coconut blossom syrup or coconut nectar, but for this recipe I don't, because that is darker and it will make your passion fruit look really dark, but I like this color, so that I that's why I'm using that's why I use maple syrup. And then hemp seeds, I don't know whether you're familiar with that. We use that a lot. Okay, you guys are all nodding, so great, because in Malaysia it's a bit harder to get hemp seeds. Yeah.
Okay.
So is that a quarter cup?
So yeah, it's a 1/4 cup of hemp seeds. Yeah, so just basically place everything into the blender and blend it up. So I'm gonna put in the water.
And Chef Yan, one thing that some people may have heard is that with the Ninja Creamy, you don't put water in it.
Oh, okay.
But what we're doing with the coconut, the hemp, and the cashews is we're using that water and creating a cream.
Yeah.
So just so you know, some people always ask me, why is there water in this recipe?
Right. Yeah. Because then it'll become too hot and frozen.
It'll break the machine.
Yeah.
But this is perfect. So as long as you have something that has lots of fiber, fruit, or things like that.
Yeah. And then I'm putting in the passion fruit pulp. If you notice, I'm putting in all the liquids first into a blender. So that will help, you blend all this first. If you're doing, for blenders, always put the liquid in first and then put the other ingredients. If you're using a food processor, put in it's the other way around. Put in the bulkier ingredients first before you put in your liquids. So we have, and then the young coconut goes in.
And the young coconut tastes so good. We don't eat a lot of coconut.
Oh yeah.
The one that was broken down, Elizabeth got at Whole Foods in Chapel Hill.
Oh,
in Durham,
nice.
actually.
Oh, you did? Okay, Whole Foods at Durham. So they'll have them at Chapel Hill as well.
And I've got plenty, so y'all can sample it.
Oh yeah.
Do they look different in Malaysia, the coconut?
No, this looks the same. Yeah, looks the same. I haven't tasted it though. Should taste it afterwards. Okay, so we have the water, the passion fruit, cashews, young coconut meat, maple syrup, and hemp seeds. All right. Do I need to fly out? I want to make sure that. So when you turn on your Vitamix, make sure it's at the number, because this was at 4, and if you turn it off, you don't want that to happen. That has happened to me. Yeah, so I just put it to 1, and this do I need to turn it on anywhere else? It's just
Okay, hers is over there. They're all different. Why do they do that?
I think I don't actually like to blend too much, because sometimes I find like, well, I don't like the noise and I don't like the yeah. You think this looks okay? I don't know what.
Well, and some
or
of
do you do it?
it's going to go into the Ninja Creamy pint,
Yeah.
and then it's going to get spun. So
Yeah.
let's see.
Do we want it? Does it need to be smoother? I don't have a Ninja Creamy, so I basically just put it into silicone molds, but you can actually put it into ice cube trays, and then after that, I just process it into my food processor to make it into ice cream. But now we have this this awesome ice cream maker device called the Ninja Creamy, which Kathy has 2 ebooks on it, and you also have a whole Ninja Creamy experience.
Which means if you're scared, you can get step-by-step videos. But so those of you who are like scared of the Ninja Creamy, which I know not all of you are, I know some of you are experts. Yes, I'm looking at you and you, and there may be more. But like, you just blend stuff up pretty much. And then this is an original. We're using original pints. There's one that makes me so mad. It's a 3-cup pint. Pints are 2 cups, but that's what they call it. So, and then this has a max fill, so you just don't want this mixture to go past there when you're freezing it, and you want to make sure it sits flat. You don't want it to be kind of womper-jawed. And then what Elizabeth was doing over here was scraping the hump, because, and I can tell you a little more about the Ninja Creamy, but like, seriously, so you've made it, you pour it into the max fill line, you put a lid on it, and this one's for a deluxe, so we'll have extra, and you put it in the freezer for 24 hours, and then you're going to do what we're going to do next. And you haven't used the Ninja Creamy yet.
I haven't, but I've seen it. I've seen it twice already.
Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to do it? Get some of this out of the way. Do with my towel.
Here's the extra one if you need it.
Okay. I made a mess. I always make a mess.
Oh, I always make a mess as well.
I buy these by the like 25.
Of course you do. Okay, so when I was talking about a hump, do you see how there's a little bit of hump there, right? And what happens is some people now are freezing them without lids, but I put in like a week's worth at a time, and I'm not going to remember what beige is what beige.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and this, Elizabeth did it the very best way. Some cheap painter's tape and a pen. I've tried dry erase, wet erase. They all come off before you're done. So this is just having this. I have some washable labels, but literally just use masking tape. And then you've got a spoon here. So literally we're just going to scrape this with a spoon. So let's see if I can hold it and do it. Like, it's not hard.
Wait, I should try doing that.
Okay, here you go.
Because I've seen you do this many times.
Okay. So
Oh yeah, it's not that hard.
it's not hard. You already spend it, like, by the magic of Elizabeth. Ooh,
Wow.
Once on light ice cream.
We're doing step-by-step demo here, so that was once on light ice cream.
Okay, let me grab one spoon. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of extra tips. So one thing that can happen, she had her sitting out for a little while, but because the blade, so this is what the blade looks like. And if the blade actually went all the way to the wall, it would scrape it and you would eat plastic. So when you're mad about the ice wall, just remember, at least I'm not eating plastic, A. Then B, you can either leave it out a little extra, or you can come, oh yeah, no, hers is perfect. It was out just long enough.
Yeah.
Hers is perfect. So like what'll happen is if you're coming down through here, you'll hear and you have to push really hard, and just do it all the way around and do a respin. But you can, hers has been left out really well, so you can see how smushy it is. This is another way. Sometimes if you've got a very cold freezer, it's going to look like Dippin' Dots or snow or crumbly. You didn't do anything wrong. Don't throw it away. Do not. I will come to your house. I will do it. And just pour in the little hole, pour a tablespoon or two of non-dairy milk, and then put it on, light ice cream. If it's really, really like snow is outside my house, you can even do light ice cream again, or you'll do respin a couple of times. You can also let it sit out for about 5 or 10 minutes before you do respin. So it's really whatever works for you. Yeah. And see, I'm like, you can and so people say things like, well, how many respins are too many? Well, until it's too liquidy and you're not happy and you have to put it back in the freezer. But usually you don't go that far. Sometimes I will guesstimate wrong. And then I'm obsessive. So
that's fine, because I wasn't sure. Like, oh yeah, you need to make it flat, right?
And then I move it around. I don't know if you really need to, but it makes me happy.
Oh, okay.
Look, Kathy's stress goes away. So, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and I do get a little bit OCD about some of this. So, okay. So you see, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. So there are little holes down here in the bottom, little things that come out, and that's what holds the ice cream in place. A little bit of the ice cream is down there.
Okay. So
this is the
put it
no nut version,
Okay.
just for reference.
And then usually what I do is I turn it.
Oh, okay. Right.
And the reason I do, and it may be down there now.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I do it and I'm like, yeah, I got it. And sometimes it goes,
you want it to fit.
Because it has to fit in right in there like that.
The grooves.
Yeah. And I prefer to do that twisty motion instead of trying to put on the lid a bunch.
Right.
Because I always feel really ridiculous. And I'm like, I know better. Aha.
Didn't know you were going to school in the States.
Woo! Look at that.
Okay.
So there's just a little thing. You twist it on. You guys all heard it go click. Okay. And we'll try and see if we can put this way.
Now we're using the Ninja Creami.
Yeah. This is the Ninja Creami original. It looks a little different. They have all the same things on deluxe. Also, you can make, even though it has creamicino and slushy, and you can make those in the original. I might tell you how if you ask me nicely. Do you want to try and put it in?
All right, sure. So do I just?
Yeah, it just kind of goes on there. You don't. Yeah.
Do I slide it in?
No. The deluxe you have to slide it in.
Oh, okay. And then do I?
Let's see. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And then just take that and
To lock it, right?
and keep going.
Oh. Ah!
Then we turn it on. If we'd had the on button before, the install light would blink. That means the ice cream isn't here. And it's trying to give you a helping hand. Sometimes you've left the blade off. If it's all the way up and doing that, and you're like, it's in there. The blade might be. I don't know about you guys. I get distracted. And so we're going to do smoothie bowl and light ice cream are about the same thing. If you don't have a smoothie bowl setting, some don't. You can use sorbet or light ice cream. We are almost always going to use those 3 settings. Ice cream is for a really soft mix. So like you said you did it, somebody else's regular vegan recipe. So if it has more fat or sugar, then you can use regular ice cream. So whole food plant-based, we almost never do unless you're like me. You took your smoothie bowl out and then you went and did email. And now it's like, oh, it doesn't need that much spinning. So I'm going to put it on light ice cream. Yeah, that one looks good. Let me, and it's loud. I can't hear anything you're saying, but I'll be glad to answer your question after. Let's see how this is like really nice. Okay, are they doing ice cream? Let me ask you a question. This is no nuts?
No, the one you're spinning is no nuts.
Okay. Because I was worried because you just handed me that spoon too. And I'm like, I'm just putting nuts in here.
No,
okay.
you're good. Yep. The one you're spinning is a no nut. If anybody has a nut allergy, you try a no nut option.
And it takes about 3 minutes. 3 minutes is a long time. And it shows you kind of where it is. You can see down in here. Let me see if I can. Okay.
Yeah, I did 3 pints of the regular and 1 pint of the no nut.
Okay, thank you so much. So this is the whole food plant-based version.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll explain that.
With steel cut oats.
Okay.
With the option of cooked
Awesome.
steel cut.
It works.
Yeah.
Have you been using it at all?
No, that's the first time. And I saw oats and didn't think about it being steel cut. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going for area. I was like, oh wait, that's different.
You can
And I
call me.
should
You
have
can make it different.
It was like midnight. And so I made it. And I was like there 1:30. And then I canceled my 8 o'clock.
What are you doing tonight?
I don't really have plans.
Okay, let me see if we're really going or not. We might
You guys are going to go for
free throw.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Sweet. We have been doing a great demo, and if you can hear us, we are so excited for everybody live streaming. Hey, everyone.
It should be down there now. And you can kind of see the blade going up and down. And you don't have to stay in the room with it. You can walk to the other room. Here you're a captive audience, but usually I walk to the other room.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to press that button?
All right.
And then
Hold and twist.
Yeah, and then hold that.
Ah, okay. Twist.
Yeah.
This is different from the deluxe because Nate has the deluxe, right?
Yeah, it is a little different. Okay, so now you click that button and open the lid. It's easy, easier than it seems. Yeah.
Ah.
Okay. And this doesn't look as creamy, so we could do a respin. But also, yeah. One of the things, I think if I mush it around, it will be fine enough.
I'm so curious.
So see? So it doesn't really need.
Yeah,
But this one, it almost has a little bit of an ice wall. We could do a respin.
You make sure you pick some. The ice cream. Because she's giving me.
Yeah, and this is the whole. So the one you guys are having is the extra rich chef yen version, and then this is our combined whole food plant-based version.
That
With
is for the non-vegans to taste what vegan ice cream can taste like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to respin it. It'll take about a minute. Oh, that looks lovely.
That was the knot. That's the two.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to be really good with all the chaos. Okay. And so it'll come with a little hole a lot of times too when it's good. You could put a mix in. You could put some coconut shreds. You could put some frozen passion fruit. Let's see. That's how you can tell it's ready. Okay. Do we need more of this kind or no? We're doing good?
It tastes like my ice cream.
Okay. I'm going to have a big spoonful. Oh, it's so good. She does it differently than I do. So I had a Ninja Creamy smoothie bowl and she had not one. So what she did, you could put in a Ninja Creamy smoothie bowl.
Okay. So hold.
I just got mine.
Press here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And this,
Well, I haven't had any. Oh, you didn't get a sample yet?
there you go. And we probably could have done it better without that second spin. The texture would be a little better. But it's fine. Do you want to taste this one?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is that good enough?
So is
Are
this
you-
my tasting spoon? Or
Yeah.
Do I just?
That one's the no-nut.
So if anybody wants to try the whole food plant-based oat one, it doesn't have cashews. Okay.
I do. I want to try that one.
Okay.
Too.
This is lighter. Well,
No nuts. Same thing. No nuts.
was this the one in the book?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So it's not the same, but I took the
I like this better. It's
less.
lighter.
It is much lighter. So
Yeah.
let's see. Let me make sure I'm at our heads now. Nope. We're just talking headless.
Yeah. But
So what we're talking
yeah,
about.
but that one's like, I'm like, oh, that tastes like my ice cream. It is.
So we did two variations, and so the one that's in the Ninja Creamy ebook 2 is the no nut, no coconut. And you might be like, how can you make a version of this coconut with no coconut, lady? And what it is we use coconut extract. So a lot of times in whole food plant-based no oil cooking, especially things like starch solution where they're not really interested. Dr. McDougall doesn't, well, in our group, he said no coconut, just none. And so that way you can still make Thai curries, and at least it tastes similar. And like I was making some Thai teas with like soy milk and a little coconut extract.
Okay.
But
I like it.
be careful with the coconut extracts you choose. There's some that use drops that are extra strong now. I got one of those on Amazon because I just tasted it. Don't do that. It was very, very unpleasant. But the normal ones you can taste and do that, but it was too strong. But so basically the first one has, both are whole food plant-based with beyond a doubt. And if you didn't want to use maple syrup, you could use dates. We use maple syrup in both of these, and some people feel differently about maple syrup. You could also take coconut sugar and warm water and make a syrup out of that, or probably even blend it in the blender together.
Yeah, just blend it together.
Do you ever use date syrup?
I do. Do you use date syrup?
I use date powder because I was able to get date powder, and I will make my own date paste as well. Yeah, with just dates and water. Yeah.
In the ebook, Tammy Kramer made a chocolate. I think it was Tammy Kramer that made it with date syrup,
I need to try that.
and it does taste different than my chocolate that has dates. So it is interesting. It is a little bit different taste. Is that your preferred sweetener, Nancy?
No, well,
What'd you say was in this one?
Yeah, you can use almost anything in a Ninja Creamy. I usually say liquid sweetener just because most people aren't patient and paying attention if it dissolved in the blender. So, because then if it's gritty, like let's say you use regular sugar and you blended it all up and it was gritty, the Ninja Creami isn't going to take care of that. But you can always make a simple syrup with anything except date sugar. Date sugar doesn't dissolve,
Yeah.
but you can get it ground very finely.
I see everyone's enjoying the
Yeah.
passion fruit ice cream.
Yeah. Here,
Oh, nice.
We'll show everybody.
Yay.
You guys can wave. Hello. They're getting to taste the ice cream and you guys aren't. So you're going to have to make some of Chef Yen's ice cream.
You're not allowed to say so good. That's the Simnett Nutrition's key word.
So is it?
It's what?
Simnett nutrition.
You're not making ice.
So good.
Okay. So the question is what do you use the Ninja Creami for if you're not making ice cream? Because it is indeed kind of a one-trick pony. So I will tell you that it is not a blender. It is not a Vitamix. You're going to freeze stuff in those containers. Now, so most of the time you're going to do ice cream sorbets, smoothie bowls. It comes from a thing called a Paco Jet, which you see in Michelin star restaurants, like where you're going. They probably have a Paco Jet. The entry-level Paco Jet is $5,000.
Yeah, we had that in culinary school as well.
Yeah.
Paco Jet.
And it's very cool. So Paco Jet let their patent expire, and then Ninja swooped in and made
Yeah, I'm so happy they did that.
right. So this is a $200 appliance instead of a $5,000 appliance.
Yeah.
So in those Michelin star restaurants, not only do they make their ice creams, they would make like hummus or dips or pâtés because they're going to be able to get it smoother.
Yeah, super smooth.
And you could, for us, obviously, you could make, and you probably won't, but you could make split pea soup. So you cook your split pea soup, freeze it, creamyize it, and heat it up, and you will have the smoothest split pea soup you've ever had. But most people are not going to go through that. You could do it with hummus. You can make hummus, make your regular hummus, put it in there, and it will make it creamier. So like if you're a person who's always looking for the creamiest hummus and you're like getting your garbanzo beans out of the skins, I've done it. I did it once and I was like, it was awfully creamy, but no, I'm never doing that again.
I like my food gritty.
I like my smooths to be smooth and my crunchies to be crunchy. But so that's something else you could do with it that I really doubt you're going to. But like smoothie bowls, so someone's asking a smoothie bowl question because they're like, well, since Chef Yen made hers in the blender, and I ate mine straight from the Ninja Creami, my smoothie bowl this morning. If she had leftover smoothie bowl that she didn't eat, I could have stolen it and put it in a Ninja Creami pint and had it for myself tomorrow.
Too cold.
I know she wouldn't have it. I would eat it. and so you could do like make 7 days of smoothie bowls. And if you were staying for a long time, then I might still make 14 smoothie bowls, one for each of us, but you could leave it out and let it just go ahead and do whatever too. Like you get up early, you could spin yours and then wait till it's more of your temperature. Yes, Miss Nancy, I saw that you had a question.
I just have a question. You said something about frappuccinos and those.
Oh, the cremachinos, yes.
Cremachinos. Tell me how you do that.
For you, I'll tell. So, do you have the original Ninja Creami? Yeah, that's like the original. So you don't have a cremachino button. I have the Breeze too, and it works fine. It is discontinued. So if you have it, it's done weird things for people. So stay nearby. Mine, nothing's happened to mine. So if you have the deluxe pint, it's 3 cups. There's a thing that says max fill, and then it'll say max, complete max fill or max drink fill. So those cremachino recipes are for 2 cups. So if you don't have a lot of pints, I can make it. So like let's say I had a Ticino cold brew coffee. Ticino is like a grain coffee substitute. I just made this the other day. So I probably I like my stuff really milky. So you may vary. Okay. So I probably put a half a cup of brewed Ticino in there. I put 5 to 7 dates, and then I fill up. I put a half a cup of one of my thickeners, so it could be cooked white sweet potato, it could be tofu, it could be leftover steel cut oats, it could be zucchini with some beans. Okara's perfect. I forget. I gave Nancy my other Mio mat, so Nancy's making Okara now. Half a cup of
I should
Okara.
ask you for some for the ice cream then.
And I had some. Okara is the pulp from soy milk making. So when you make soy milk and you strain it, and Okara, at least in Japan, is used in a lot of dishes. Is Okara used in any traditional Malaysian dishes?
Not really. It's strange though, because we make so much soy milk in Malaysia. So
It probably just goes in the back end somewhere, because like in Japan they make mashed potatoes. There's Okara patties, and is it called something different than Okara?
It's kind of, I mean, I know it as Okara.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if that was the Japanese.
But I haven't seen them like selling it or making. I mean, not most people don't make stuff with it. I've seen recipes online and all that, but
I do see recipes online, and I think do a lot of Asian households in general have a soy milk maker, because we got them late. There used to be you'd have to get an Asian soy milk maker and figure out what the symbols were, because it's not as easy as looking at French or German. Even it's a little harder.
I don't know. I never grew up with a soy milk maker,
Okay.
only because it's so easy and so cheap and accessible. You can walk along the streets, or you go to the night markets, and they have.
Everyone's selling it.
Yeah, they sell it on the streets all the time.
Okay.
So we just
At the Grand Asia Market in Cary, the one that we didn't get to go to, they sell fresh soy milk on the weekend. So I was telling somebody, if they don't make it, you might ask them if you could buy some Okara from them, if they might work out a deal. Okara is, to me, my absolute favorite thickeners are Okara and cooked white sweet potato. What about you, Jeremy? What's your favorite?
White sweet potato.
White sweet
potato in general.
Yeah.
I do the orange one.
And see, I made Cheryl a chocolate one with orange sweet potato, and she hated it, so I had to eat it. And chocolate isn't my favorite. I'm not throwing that out. I don't know who she thinks she's talking. I'm the one who has a spatula, so we don't get rid of a tablespoon. Well, you weren't going. You're like, I'm not going to eat this. I'm like, I made you chocolate ice cream, but
Oz will eat it.
I will eat it.
yeah. Okay. So then you've got Ticino, you've got your half cup of thickener, you've got your dates or date syrup or anything it doesn't matter, whatever your sweetener is to taste, and then non-dairy milk. Blend it up. I blend all my Ninja Creamies up because it really does make a difference when you're spinning them. And then I would freeze it. So if I was making it for me and Cheryl, so if I was out of my deluxe pints and I had this, I'm going to spin it on light ice cream. I'm going to scoop half of it out into an empty container, put milk in here, and spin it on milkshake. It's just that simple. Everybody thinks it's like some crazy thing. It's like, nope, you make the ice cream, then you make it into a milkshake. If you wanted to make a slushie, and I did one of those earlier this week, usually what I do is canned pears in juice, right? You can get those at Walmart, really cheap. None of the other places have them in juice all the time except for Walmart. And so I take a can of that, blend it with, like I did raspberries or strawberries. Those are two like fresh ones. Blend it, fill it up to the line, let it freeze, and then spin it on sorbet or light ice cream. It really does. It's about the same. The RPMs it goes around and the time it spends is pretty darn close. It might be one more rotation per minute or something, so you don't need to worry about it. Some engineer counted them. Trust me, either one will work. And then I would scoop half of it out, and if you don't have another pint, I'd scoop half of it out into a bowl, add water, or you could add coconut water, and then I spin it on milkshake, and then it looks like, you could either, depending on how much water you put in, you can make it look like a slush puppy or an icy. and it's just fruit. So what questions do you have for Chef Yen now that we've got the Ninja Creami stuff out of the way? And here, you want?
Can you make soy milk as a raw thing?
No, because soy milk you need to cook the soy. So we make almond milk, any nut milks or nut or seed milks. Yeah, is made raw, but not the soy milk.
Okay.
So like Kathy's cheater oat milk recipe would be great because you can just blend it and then make whatever you want out of it.
It depends, because again, the raw purists don't think
Oats on raw.
raw because it's steamed, right?
Right.
Unless you use oat groats, then you can take the oat groats and then you sprout it, and then you dehydrate it, and then you can grind it up and then you
make
can,
it into
you can make
stuff.
oat. Yeah,
And you
then you make oat.
dehydrate it 150 or lower, right?
Well, yes, yeah. So it depends. I mean, I'm not, I'm not like, you have to do. I'm not the raw police. That's basically it. Because I'm high raw. I do, like, when I travel and when I eat out with friends, I still eat cooked food, but I feel best when I'm raw. Yeah. So
For everyone in-house, we have door prizes. Did you put your name on our sign-in sheet? If you hadn't, I'm going to pass it around so everybody can sign in officially.
Oh, yes.
What was something or a few of the things that you had enjoyed previously to going raw that has been the hardest for you to recreate, but you found some good versions for it you like?
Hardest to recreate, I think some of the Asian recipes, because it's not so much of flavor, it's more of the texture. Like, I don't know whether like, Malaysians, for breakfast we eat this thing called roti canai, and it's kind of like a flaky, it's like a roti prata, like the Indian prata. So it's like a flaky bread, not bread, flat bread, right? So it's hard for me to get that texture. I don't miss it anymore. I think obviously when I first became vegan, raw vegan, I did miss a lot of the food that I previously ate, but it's been so many years, and I realized, like, when I started having more of a primarily fruit-based diet, because now I have fruit for breakfast and fruit for dinner, I don't crave those foods much anymore. But so, like, maybe sometimes I'm trying to figure out, like, I like mochi. It's the Japanese dessert, and that's made from glutinous rice flour, so that's harder to get that texture when it's raw vegan. But I'm wondering about rice, because I used to love eating rice. I mean, I still like eating rice, but I don't digest rice so much well. So even if I do eat cooked, I do eat quinoa rather than rice. But you do have this thing called wild forbidden rice, which is not really a rice.
Oh,
Yeah,
wild rice or forbidden rice?
forbidden rice.
Oh, I
Forbidden
love
rice. The black ones. So you can actually sprout those. So you just soak them in water and then rinse it. You re-soak them. So recently, on this trip, I was in Vegas. So we stayed with my raw food creator friends, Lisa and Nate Maris. So they sprouted the forbidden rice, and she made a fiesta rice recipe, and I made a dabai unfried rice recipe. The video is on my Instagram, actually. So the video is my YouTube. Yeah, you can check that out. And I listed out the ingredients, but I don't have the portions, like, the measurements, because it was like just guesstimates, because that's what we do in Malaysia. We don't actually say, like, use 1 chili for this, or like 3 cups of this and 1/3 cup of that. No, it's just like you just put everything in, you taste, and then you adjust accordingly. So at one point I did miss a bit of rice. You could make cauliflower rice or broccoli rice or jicama rice, but I don't actually really like cauliflower rice. And a lot of people can't digest it well anyway.
I made sushi with cauliflower rice for a friend, and I was asked not to do that again. But there is a question here. Do you ever eat sweet potatoes or regular potatoes?
So when I cook food for Mr. I call him Mr. Jazz Guitarist. So when I cook food for him, then he loves potatoes. And I also use sweet potatoes as well. But I also use sweet potatoes for raw things. So like I think I have there's this Malaysian dessert called bubur cha-cha, which uses sweet potatoes as a base. There's sweet potatoes, there's coconut palm sugar, there's, it's kind of like a dessert soup. I don't know whether you're familiar with dessert soup, because in Asia there's a lot of desserts that is kind of like in a form of a soup, and there's a chunky bits and you eat it. So I use sweet potato for that. I use sweet potato for my raw wraps. I've made sweet potato noodles as well using a spiralizer to make that as well. Sweet potato chips as well. So yes, I do use sweet potato in my raw recipes.
When you're talking about sweet potatoes, do you talking about orange or purple? Or you talking?
Both. I use both. Yeah. Yes.
Is there a replacement for psyllium husk for the breads, for the raw breads,
It
raw wraps?
okay. So the thing about using the psyllium husk is to give that texture, that bready, bouncy bread texture. So if you don't use the psyllium husk, then I think it acts as two things: a binder as well as the texture. So if you don't use that, then I'm trying to think, because I think you can make flat breads. So you use instead of psyllium as a binder, then you use chia seeds or flax seeds. But if you're going to use bread in like a traditional form of bread and you want that texture, I haven't tested to see if I can develop a recipe without the psyllium husk. Yeah, because I as far as I remember, all raw vegan bread recipes uses that. But is it because you're allergic? Oh, okay.
Are you allergic to flaxseed as well? I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I know
You can use flax and chia, but it's a different texture. I mean, it depends on what you
because,
want.
like in gluten-free bread, even
Yeah.
not raw bread, the psyllium husk does make a better
Yeah.
texture.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's kind of like with whole food plant-based no oil, right? Like we like the cake that we get. Someone who's eating a standard American diet isn't going to like that cake. So it could be, since you can't have it, you might be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I mentioned, people make flatbread without the psyllium husk, so that's something you can consider as well.
Any final takes?
Were you vegan before you went raw vegan?
Okay, so in the early 90s, so I'm 51. So yeah, so I was born in 1973. It's raw vegan's anti-aging. It is, because you're so because you get like maximum nutrients from your food, and it's so hydrating. So in the early 1990s, I also studied law, so I remember this because when I was in law school, and I think it was either my first year or second year, I remember reading just reading articles, on like how meat is not very good for your body, it's not very good for your health. So I cut down on meat. So I stopped eating beef, I stopped eating lamb. I ate a bit of chicken, but I never really liked the taste of chicken. So I cut out a lot of meat. I ate a bit of fish because everybody's like, oh, you need your protein, right? So I ate a bit of fish. And then it's only like like social events or family events sometimes. You're eating with your family, so I just ate that. So so I was eating, I guess they call it a flexitarian diet, where it's like primarily like maybe 80% vegetables and all that. So that was in the early 90s, 92, 93. And then in 2014, I discovered raw vegan food, and then I was so excited about it because I think the thing that hit me was just the energy, because I made my meal. Usually I feel very sluggish and tired after eating a meal. But this time, after making the raw vegan lasagna, I was like, whoa, it has so much energy. And then I was like, this is strange. So I waited. After an hour, I'm like, I still have so much energy. After 2 hours and after 3 hours, I was like, whoa, what's this? What's going on? So I did more research, and I realized it was the raw foods. So so in 2015, I took my first course on how to make raw vegan food. 2016, I went to Matthew Kenny Culinary. They had a school in Thailand. They just opened up their first raw and plant-based culinary school there. So I did that. And actually, initially, when I was making the raw food, it was just to make it taste better for him. it wasn't to be a chef, Yeah, it was just to make better food so that he won't go like, "Ugh," and not eat it, right? Because he's quite a picky eater as well, like Cheryl. So, and then I was just documenting my journey on Instagram, and people started getting curious. They're like, "What's this? What's raw food? How do you make it?" And then somebody said like, "Oh, I'm doing a workshop on this and you're presenting." I'm like, okay. And then more and more people got interested, and then I got invites to present at vegan festivals. I got invited to publish to write a raw vegan dessert book, which has 50 recipes, and that got onto the Kinokuniya best-selling list for November 2020. So I can call myself a best-selling author. Yeah, and then I got invited to present a TED Talk. Yeah, and then So and then now I'm here to visit Kathy because Kathy and Cheryl are like, so much fun, and we're like, okay, we're coming here. We want to visit our friends that we've met online and we haven't met in person. Yeah.
We thank you.
You're welcome.
Your symptoms went away.
It was very fast. That's the thing, because I didn't. People keep asking me that, but I can't remember like exactly because I didn't document it. But I think within a few weeks. Yeah, it was faster. It wasn't like a month or something. It was more like 2.
Did your doctor say like, oh,
What'd you do?
I didn't tell my doctor because. So okay, what happened was I did. Wait, let me think. I told my doctor that I didn't even tell her that I was. So this is my primary care doctor. I didn't tell her that I was going vegan. I told her I was vegetarian, and she gave me this long lecture for 25 minutes on how bad it is, and you're gonna die, and this and that is gonna be bad for your health. And then I just never went back to her again because, well, number one, because she gave me a lecture on that, but number two, I hardly ever fell sick again after that because I used to fall sick like every month. I would get the cough, I would get the flu, fever and all that. But because after that, when I went primarily raw vegan, it's like I didn't have much. I noticed like if I don't have enough sleep and I'm too stressed, I will sometimes I fall sick, but if not, I don't. So like I think sometimes in 2 years I don't fall sick at all, unless But, so I never went back to her again.
Any other questions before? Now you get to see the prettiness.
Nice.
So I'll show you guys online. So Elizabeth was opening up the blind. Oh no, fine. There's glare. Look how pretty it is. This is why you should come into the plant pod demo. Plus she fed everybody. It's a potluck. So anything else, guys?
What was the purple gadget you put on the floor and didn't use?
I think that's what
we did use it. So the
the
purple gadget. She's asking what was the purple gadget. Kathy has a really fancy purple colored Ninja Creami.
Yeah.
The original version Ninja Creami is in colors.
That I bought with my very own money.
So Kathy's is purple, mine's black or gray. And so we just wanted to wrap up today. Thank everyone for joining us in person. Thank Raw Chef Yen for being here today. Such a great experience. I think we've all learned a lot. I think it's really great to appreciate that it doesn't just have to be cold, that you can heat to a certain point and still count it as raw, to have warmed foods, and that you really do end up feeling better and feeling more alive with the raw food options. And the salad, she's right, to have things be beautiful and appeal to our eyes really does make a difference. And so even though the pineapple cucumber salad was a bit spicy, it was so good. So good, everybody. So we'll have all the recipes for everyone. If you're interested, reach out to Kathy. We can get you a copy of those recipes as well for all of you online folks. And we're going to do some door prizes for folks that are in-house. Another reason to come to our in-person cooking demos, we try to give stuff away. And so Kathy's going to come and wrap up as well. Thanks, everyone.
And okay, guys, thank you so much. And we're going to wrap up the live part. And I will come back and put a link to the Plant Pod Facebook group. They do a virtual meeting every month as well. So no matter where you are, you can come and meet then. And then you can ask Elizabeth for the recipes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.